Okay, so for those of you who've been following me for any amount of time, you know that about a month or two ago I went to the hospital for a little irregular heartbeat. I got diagnosed as having AFib. I went to the hospital about 5 o'clock in the morning, no ambulance ride. My wife drove. I went to the emergency room, spent a little bit of time in the emergency room, went upstairs to a regular room, saw a handful of doctors, had some lunch, and was released by 2 p.m. You guys know that back then I told you I got my bill and my portion was $3,100 and change. I have the detailed bill here. I wanted to just kind of break it down for the people that listen from other countries who are always astounded by this shit over here in the United States. So this is what they billed, and this is what wound up being paid. So for intensive care, it was $3,900. Intensive care unit, $3,900 and change. Drugs or medication, $55. Laboratory services for $151, $1,061, $237, and $557. X-ray services of $688. Emergency room services of $4,500. Diagnostic medical exam of $265, and an EKG inpatient for $1,060 for a grand total of $12,550.19. And after my what is considered in the United States pretty damn good health insurance covered their portion, I get to pay $992 for intensive care unit, $13 for drugs, laboratory services for $37, $265, $60 and $140, x-ray services of $172, an emergency room service of $1,126, a diagnostic medical exam of $66.25, and an EKG inpatient of $265 for a grand total of $3,137.55. And yes, that is after paying for really good health insurance through the form of premiums each and every month. And that's after paying a copayment every time I see my doctor. That's after paying a copayment every time I see a specialist. That's after paying copayment for some medications. We do have pretty good pharmaceutical coverage in our insurance plan, but that's it. That's not even an overnight stay. That's no ambulance ride. That is less than a day. I didn't even make it to dinner. And it was $12,500. And I have to pay $3,100 after paying for insurance month in and month out. So that is the American healthcare system. That is what we're stuck with because 40% of this country, or less than 40% of this country, I should say, does not want UK-style healthcare coverage because they deem it to be socialism, and we're all going to be under the thumb of the government.